church in Philippi.
Notice it says at his side. It's not that they worked with them and they were over here and Paul was over here, but they were in the fight together, contending together. So, and that, of course, as we know about some of the culture of that time, might have been a bit unusual, but they were working together.
Yeah, we're working together side by side with Paul.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah, they were. And so other than that, not a lot of details are shared. Well, what was the conflict? What was the disagreement? We're simply not told. Maybe it was the color of the church drapery, did you say? Carpet, okay, yeah, could have been, right? Who knows, right? Maybe that was a hot topic then too. But we're not told the details. Maybe Paul doesn't want to air their dirty laundry. But at the same time, you wonder, well, can you imagine getting this letter and you're singled out in this? It was probably, thinking about that in context, it was probably a case where this disagreement was pretty public. And so Paul addresses it in somewhat of a public manner, but also in a gentle manner where it wasn't overly embarrassing for them. It was really a positive encouragement to work together. It was no surprise to the rest of the congregation that these women were at odds, but then to hear Paul's encouragement to overcome that. Who was to help these women reconcile? What's that?
It says, I ask you, my true companion. He's speaking to somebody specific.
Yeah, he's speaking to somebody, so we don't know who that is, but the important point I wanted to highlight there is somebody was given the task of being sort of a mediator, right? Help these women resolve this conflict. Whose side did Paul take in this disagreement, by the way?
He didn't either.
Neither, right? That was a trick question. You guys know, right? So he wasn't taking sides, and I think a very important thing, right, when there is conflict like that, hey, let's resolve this in a Christian manner. So you see Paul navigate that, I think, pretty well. Under the discussion, we'll maybe apply this to our days. Amy already made an application talking about church carpet color, but maybe there are more examples that come to mind. We're not given specific details of the disagreement that Euodia and Syntyche were having. However, what disagreements might arise among Christians? Earlier in the letter, Paul talks about a few different things. First of all, he talks about people preaching Christ out of false motives. So they weren't preaching a wrong gospel or a false gospel, but they were preaching out of false motives. So he addresses that a little bit and says, thankful that at least Christ is being preached. And then he talks about false teachings, and clearly, right, that those was not something to go 50-50 on and reconcile, but to recognize this is the truth. And now he's talking about a disagreement, and we don't know specifically what that was. It doesn't seem like it was a doctrinal disagreement, but something over a matter of which God has neither commanded nor forbidden. So keep that in mind as you're thinking of this question. What are some things or disagreements that might arise among Christians today? Amy?
Administrative issues, where to put the money, or, what color to paint the walls. It really trivial things. The order of service even is really up for grabs. Sing during communion, do we not sing during communion? And people feel really strong language about certain things.
Right. Yeah, so there can be different opinions in terms of administrative things. If you didn't hear Amy say that, what administrative decisions do we make as a congregation? Or, as you said, things that we might think of trivial things, but to somebody that's important, right? We want to recognize that, not dismiss that. Ava?
And sometimes there's just personality differences, different ways of going about things. Somebody likes to do things all organized, and somebody's a lot more freewheeling, and it's kind of hard to get the two together. And, there's a lot of personality differences that can cause problems.